everyone. Welcome to our Swag Up Your SKO event. That was a tongue twister. I had to really think about that. Welcome to our event. I'm your host, Helen Rankin. I'm our Chief Brand Officer at SwagUp. And I have with us today our CRO, Matt Freedman, who is joining us from San Francisco. But don't let him fool you. He is from Philadelphia. So if any of you are Philly fans, feel free to put in the comments, or not a fan of Philadelphians at all. Also, feel free to roast them. No, I'm kidding. So welcome, Matt, to our Swag and Demo event. Really happy to have you with us today. Obviously, you've managed some Rev Orgs. You manage our Rev Org here at SwagUp. So give us a little bit of background about you, besides being from Philly.
Born and raised, go Birds, just like the Fresh Prince. No, thanks, Helen. I appreciate it. Happy to be here. So background, I've been kind of in and out of startup culture, SaaS, e-commerce, direct-to-consumer brands, really my entire career over about 15 years. Most recently at Meta through an acquisition there of a company called Customer that was a CX platform. So shout out to anyone from Customer or Meta who joined us today. But yeah, I think, making the transition to SwagUp, it's been about 9 months already, which is crazy to think. So I love being here. I love the culture we're building, the platform, watching it evolve, and, excited to chat some SKO.
And I mean, we have our SKO event coming up next week in Miami. So the timing of this couldn't have been any better. And
Right.
For those of you that are on our call today, we actually have a promo going on for anyone ordering swag for their SKO event as well. If you order swag from us, we will give you a complimentary virtual event for that order. So if you're looking to plan one pretty soon. So let's dive into kind of our first question, Matt, which I think a lot of people, when they're planning their SKO event, they want to budget for it. So how exactly do you go about budgeting for it? And especially right now, a lot of companies kind of have their budgets in flux, or they're kind of, they either did coming off of layoffs from last year or something. So tell us, how do you actually plan for that?
Yeah, no, great question. So to kind of just set the construct of what an SKO is, or the sort of what these team events tend to look like. And it really can run the full gamut. A sales kickoff, or an SKO as it's sort of branded, doesn't necessarily have to involve your sales team. It could be a marketing team, an ops team, HR team. But this term SKO over about the past 10 years or so has kind of taken on a life of its own in startup and tech culture as sort of the all-encompassing get-together. The best way I like to describe it is it's kind of like the Grammy Awards for your Rev Org. So you can set the table any way that you like. You can make this a fun, very kind of award-focused, to really highlight the personnel on your team, highlight the achievements of last year. It sort of always kicks off that way for like the first morning of everyone getting together. There's SKO events that are fully virtual. There's some that are, solely on site. There's some that are hybrid. But really, the way to sort of set that scene is you want this to be a very much a promotional event for your internal team, right? You want to highlight achievements. You want to highlight awards, really put the people on a pedestal just to celebrate what you were able to achieve the previous year. So once all that stuff's out of the way, it's a great time to sort of set the table for where you're going in the following year and beyond. So, think about messaging from your CEO and all of your leadership to show how lockstep they are with a cohesive message, with a cohesive plan, and cohesive goals. So you can use, typically SKOs tend to last about 2 or 3 days. The format will be, a lot of times you're in pretty intensive sessions from about 8 to 4 or 5 p.m. But that's when the magic starts. Then, we've done things in the past like karaoke cruises on the Hudson River in New York City. We've done things, next week there's going to be some cool events that we're going to do for our sales team. But in terms of budgeting from a swag perspective, these are moments that a lifetime of a career. Like I still have swag, water bottles, notebooks, filled with notes from SKOs from 10 years ago. So there are things that I can look back on and say like, oh my gosh, I still have the water bottle from when I was at a company called Monotate almost 12 years ago from a sales kickoff. So these are branded things that sort of tokenize your relationship with all of those people at a phase of your life that you can look back on, share that post from 10 years ago on LinkedIn and be like, look at that mug that I still have from the SKO from 2010,
Yeah.
So budgeting perspective, there's sort of two different schools of thought. There's the things that you physically need for your team in the moment, to take notes, to keep them hydrated, to keep them engaged. And then there's always the piece of branded swag, with the company tagline for the following year to make it fun. So from the sort of nuts and bolts, the meat and potatoes side of it, I'd say, budget for a pack if you're going to go that route. Something 150 to 200 bucks per person, where you're looking at a t-shirt, a water bottle, a notebook, a pen, and maybe one other small branded item. Then on the other side, this is where the creativity really comes in. I posted something kind of goofy the other night saying like, branded surfboards to send your team off to their president's trip. This is where you can get really kind of crazy. And if you're going to do something like a karaoke, a team karaoke event where you split the team up, imagine you have 250 people, your top sales reps, your top marketers, all at a karaoke bar, splitting them up in 4 different teams, and you have branded Hawaiian shirts. So this is where you, the marketer, the HR folks, the ops team can really get creative and set the tone of how you want that SKO to feel as it's a representation and extension of your brand, So you have kind of 2 different buckets. You have like the major blocking and tackling stuff. Then you have how creative can you get? Because there's brands out there like, Dreamforce and Salesforce that goes absolutely nuts. They're, users on it. So that's competition.
Absolutely. And I'm sure it depends too. If you want to cut back on budgeting or in whatever reason and actually really emphasize more on the product side, you can do it remote or virtually, depending how, spread out your team is, if they're, not all geographically in a close area as well. So I guess there's different ways that you can budget for this, but I agree with you that it should come from like the physical items that you want to send out or give out to them, and then kind of figuring out the rest, the more logistical stuff like travel and so forth.
Exactly. Yeah, I see a comment from Tara Gardner. It looks like just holding a separate event for the awards versus the proper sales kickoff trainings and like the cohesive messaging value prop stuff. Totally understand. Look, there are no rules. There's just kind of templates and formats that I've been a part of that I've seen work. But yeah, in terms of budgeting, that's I think we nailed that.
Awesome. Well, let's go into our next question that we have, which is really around what should the sales team take away from these events? Or, to your point, it doesn't have to just be the sales team. It could be marketing teams. It could be anyone within the Reb organization. What should the people that are attending these really take away from it?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's really 3 things that I think about when either designing or, having been a sales rep throughout my career, going to an SKO. First things first, if you're doing it on site, this is really the one time of year that you get to see everybody or interact with everybody. So you want this to be an energizing, inspirational, fun, collaborative kind of an event, whether it's hybrid, virtual, or in person. So if nothing else, these are the moments that build culture from a sales, marketing, and rev org probably better than any, because you have everybody physically in a room. So it's first of all to kind of set the tone of where you're going and show that your leadership has a cohesive value prop and a plan and a message going into a new year. The second component is you want to make your folks and on your team feel like they're valued. This is for me again, to Tara's point in the chat, whether you are using this as a time to celebrate and give awards or not, you want to make sure that you use live examples of your people on your team that were either a really good example of something that they did in the previous year. It's a great time to let your people sort of interact and do role plays, or have them, do breakout sessions where they're collaborating with one another. So I'd say first is definitely the cohesive messaging component. The second would be definitely make sure that the team feels valued by spending 3 or 4 days, away from doing their work. And the third thing is it should be fun. They can be really long days sitting there, especially if you're virtual, kind of sitting there taking notes and being forced to be interactive, staring into a screen. So if you're doing something at night to help kind of break up that monotony, like use your creative brain and do something that doesn't feel like work, but that can be an extension of the culture that you're trying to build. Karaoke is always my favorite thing. We had a huge karaoke culture at Meta, and people were totally bought into it. But use your imagination there. So it should be fun, interactive, collaborative, and for sure make your people, or feel that they were recognized and valued through the process.
I really like that sentiment around making them feel valued. In my mind, I was like, they should know their goals. They should know what the company is planning for that quarter, or the rest of the year. But more importantly, you really are doing this event for the sales team, and to bring them together and build those connections so that they feel energized and appreciated, and that's going to come 4 times over. Also, what's your karaoke song?
Oh dear, that's a good question. Well,
Your go-to?
in my last role, I performed as a karaoke trio called Tres Mateos. There were 3 of us named Matt that were on the team, and we sang
No.
Enrique Hero.
That's
That
amazing. Someone in the audience, Tara, was saying "Eye of the Tiger," Philly reference there.
Love it. We
Which
just had Rocky Day on Sunday, Tara, in Philly here, so I appreciate that call out.
And for those of you that don't know, I'm also from Philadelphia, which is also the brotherly love that we have in common with Matt. Okay, so on our next question, which is our last question before we get into the swag side of it,
Mhm.
how do you measure the success of it? So you mentioned a little bit in the previous question, like we want your sales team to feel appreciated and to really feel energized by the event. How do you measure that it was successful?
Yeah, it's tough at first, to be honest with you, other than just getting the sentiment back from the team. It shows up in
Mm,
Slack channels, it shows up in the pictures, and shows up on LinkedIn. Just that people had a good time and the message was cohesive and and resonated with the team. The one of the hardest things to do is carry out a lot of the messaging and put it into practice as it goes throughout the year. So if you have a cohesive theme, making sure that you can hold everybody accountable to that, and kind of going throughout the year. So that would be the one thing that doesn't necessarily show up right away outside of all the
yeah.
pictures and the fun social component of what happened. But let's just say, for instance, right, I was a part of a sales kickoff years ago, and the theme was meeting excellence. We were trying to level up
Mm,
salespeople and how to set yourself up for a great meeting and what follow up looks like. So for the entire year, an example was like we were judged on how well did you put an agenda into your calendar meeting notes to set up so that when you walked into a virtual meeting, the prospect or the customer saw the agenda, and that carried all the way through. So meeting excellence is an example of something you can set as a tone at an SKO that you can hold everyone accountable to. Spot check your folks, make sure that
mm.
in August, after 9 months after the event, people are still abiding by the culture that you're trying to set in January. So,
I
um,
love that. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it really depends on what the overall main focus or theme of that event is, and kind of making sure it's something that's measurable later on that you can really track, which
yeah,
is a good segue into our swag. and theming the swag with the SKO event. Our DJ Michaela, you don't see her on the screen, but she is working her magic today. So this is the first one that we have on your SKO meeting, and I really love this one because it's practical. It has a bunch of items that you can actually use during your SKO meeting or team event, that they can write in their journal, as you mentioned earlier, Matt. And this Defy Gravity was actually our theme for this year, for 2023, that we launched around, kind of going against the odds. And that was our entire theme for this year. And we didn't make this sweater exactly, but it was a hoodie. But it really did kind of accelerate and get everyone excited for the year. So Matt, when we talk about like themes, what about theming them with the swag items and really kind of tying that together?
Yeah, I still wear that hoodie often, and I love it.
Same.
So comfy. But yeah, to your point, like I would a really good way to start is meet with your leadership team, sort of define what that theme is or what that culture is going to be for that next year. And
Mhm.
swag is really just an extension or constant reminders when everyone leaves that on-site experience or they receive the pack if they're virtual. It's just a constant. It should be a constant reminder, again, to carry through the message and the values that you're setting, so that whether it's a Yeti tumbler sitting on your desk every day, or a hoodie that you're wearing for your meetings, a Zoom background that you're creating as an extension of all this, these touch points again just reinforce all of the things that they learned, because especially if you're on site, these sessions again can be fast and furious and you're writing down a ton of notes. They're very collaborative, interactive. You don't want that to just fall off a cliff as soon as everyone gets back to their home office. So these are those token things that just reinforce the value prop that you guys are creating together when you're on site.
Yeah. No, and I agree. And I think, to your point, you're still wearing some of the swag items that we gave last year, for our own kickoff. And this one I think is a really nice one because it's very practical. I think this one also is just great for if you're doing it virtually, because it has stuff that they can wear at home and utilize during the event. So really, really fun swag idea. And let's go to the next one. This one is a little bit more in the games and more college feeling. But I really love that it has kind of that pickleball activity. Matt, you mentioned karaoke as an activity, but I love getting teams to do something, some type of team building, whether if it's volleyball or pickleball together. I think that's just such a fun way to kind of break the ice between the team.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think we're doing, not to give anything away if our folks are watching, I think we might be doing Top Golf next week.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yep.
That's
So
fun.
yeah, anything just, again, this is a culture building kind of event. The rest of the year,
Mhm.
everyone's going to be in front of their computer doing their job,
Right?
focusing on numbers. This is a time to build culture and collaboration and just have fun. I love the foam finger, by the way. That's that's something that we may have to order. I think
We
this,
may have to do these, right?
yeah,
We
this might be
actually
good for us.
Yeah, we actually did. So in my previous life, I used to be an executive assistant to a CMO, and I used to run all of these events for all of our sales teams. And one of the years, our theme was a college campus, and we wanted to make it feel exactly how you do when you go to college, where it's like your first day of college and you're excited and you have a coach or you have like your teachers and stuff, and really kind of have that camaraderie that you have at a college, football game kind of. So all of our swag that we did for that year was the company name and campus, and the whole thing
That's cool.
was themed around it. And all of the executive team, they were wearing like Adidas tracksuits, and like they looked like football coaches or something.
That's awesome.
And part of the awards, we took it a step further. But even part of the award ceremony, the jersey, we gave out football jerseys as part of, if you were top sellers, so forth. So we really went into the theme pretty hard on that year. But I think, to your point, theming them and including some type of fun activity is really fun, is really a cool way to get everyone really excited and creating just core memories with your team, which, is really good. We have one more swag idea before we let Matt go. And if you have questions, feel free to throw them in there. And this is a more company retreat one. I love this one that it has like these little stickers and a Polaroid. I know some companies that we do swag for, they'll actually change up the stickers every year. So the sales team members that have been there for a while kind of get a collection of them for every year, which I thought was really cool that they do some type of exclusive sticker, some type of badge. But Matt, what are your thoughts on this one that's a little bit more, themed or with the camera and the stickers and so forth?
I love the idea of having one item that you can. I remember like growing up playing Little League baseball or soccer. Like if you're playing travel, at the end of every one of those games, you kind of line up and you exchange patches, right? Like you have a patch for your team and you're trading with another team, and then you sew them onto your jersey or whatever. If it just made me think of that with sort of the stickers from all these different events that you can sort of collect. The tumbler is a great thing, to slap the sticker on. If you did like small coolers eventually or something else. I have a refrigerator in my home that I have like all these company stickers from all these events and stuff.
I love that.
Yeah, no, that's I like this pack a lot. And I love the Polaroid camera. I think that's a great idea. It could be very incriminating, but also very fun at the same time.
Yeah. So I mean, there's definitely some fun ways that you can incorporate between the swag items and putting in some items that people can kind of give them a clue of what's to come for that event. So if they're receiving this, they're like, what is this camera for? And then it's ends up leading into some random scavenger hunt or some type of competition within the SKO event or team building event. It just makes it all the more fun and exciting for everyone attending. But Matt, that is the end of having you on here. It was really great having you and being able to host with you and go over all the SKO events. How can anyone find you if they want to reach out to you and ask you any more questions about SKO?
Yeah, sure. Just Matt at SwagUp.com. On LinkedIn, feel free to connect there. Always a really good way to connect as well. And yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. We're looking forward to ours, next week and just kind of doing a little bit of a retreat. And we'll probably do another small event a little bit virtually and right after the turn of the year. So any good pack ideas, Helen? I love where you took some of these. The foam finger and the Polaroid are my two biggest takeaways. So I'll be hitting you up for some of those.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Matt. Thanks for having us on board. And now this brings us into our next segment of our event where we'll go over our SwagUp dashboard. And again, if you're hosting a team building event, an SKO event and you're needing some swag, we will be giving a complimentary virtual event for your team. So, and I believe that offer goes until the end of January. So definitely take advantage. All right, so we'll go into our dashboard here. So for those of you that are customers of ours, welcome. I'm sure this looks familiar, but for those that aren't customers of SwagUp, SwagUp platform is included into working with us. You don't have to pay for our platform. There's no platform fees. You can invite as many users as you want. So if you want other team members to collaborate on your swag efforts, it is free to use. And of course, now I'll show you our dashboard. So this is our homepage. If you've been using us for a while, you'll be able to see kind of a little bit more activity. It's going to look bare if you just log in as a new member. And we also do have some membership offers. So it will show you what type of membership program that you're on. If you're starting on our free membership, it will just kind of show the basic. But you can upgrade to other memberships that we have, which unlock a lot of fun discounts and promotions and different things come up if you are wanting to upgrade to a different membership tier. There we go. And we'll start with the very first page of, let's see how it is to order some swag. So when you first start working with us, of course, your first intention is to try to get some swag from us. Sorry, our page isn't loading. Michaela, let's show the start order. Michaela's in our background DJing for me today. Okay, so when you first start with SwagUp, we do have 3 different offerings right off the bat. We can assemble the swag for you, so that's your first offer there. That's the most popular one. Most people come to us for packaging their swag into kind of like a gift box. But we also do offer swag in bulk, so it's individual items. This is great for conferences, for events, for things that you're kind of giving away, or even things that you just want to have ad hoc. We do warehouse a lot of those items as well, so you don't have to store them in your garage or closet or so forth. And then if you're completely just stuck, you don't want to think about it, you know what your budget is, you know what your use case is, you can also get some expert help. There's a little mini form version that will help you kind of get someone to curate some items for you. So if we were to build a pack, it will show you some of our items that we offer. Now, mind you, we do curate them to items that are the most popular. We do work with a lot of different vendors, but we try to make sure that the items that we're offering on our website are things that we know are high quality items, and not only high quality items, but also items that we know are going to last, that people really like. So it kind of takes away the headaches of having to think about, 1,000 different water bottle options and so forth. We kind of break it down to what we know is the best, and we know sell very well. But of course, if you want different items, you want something else completely different sourced, there's no issues with our team sourcing those items for you and kind of taking that legwork away. And there we go. Legwork off of your plate. We've sourced a lot of things. I mean, we've had customers ask us for a custom scooter. So the sourcing is unlimited depending on what your needs are. So once you pick some of the items that you're interested in, it will go into a mock-up, which our team will then design for you. And that also is included in working with us at SwagUp. You don't have to worry about designing the items. Of course, if you have a designer on staff or someone on your brand team that wants to design the items or wants to design maybe some of the items, that also is available. And yes, we do offer football jerseys. We only found one for baby jerseys. No, we offer football jerseys and any type of jerseys. Really, it can be football jerseys, baseballs, any athletic jersey we do offer as well. So now, if you pick your items, you will get some designed mock-ups. So if we go into, I believe, our products tab, here we go. And you'll see the mock-ups of the items that you want designed or want curated. And this page really makes it easy for you to see, what gets designed. If you click into one of the items that is design ready, you can see here, you can remove one of the items. You can also go back and forth on, any comments or edits that you have on the items. If you want to change the color, if you want to design it a little differently, or you want the positioning of it differently on the logos, you can go ahead and place those comments, and our design team will make those adjustments for you and be able to, make sure that we're getting the swag that you want. And once you actually go through the design process and approve all of the items, you do have the option whether you want to store the items or you want to ship it out right away. So a lot of our customers do kind of a bit of a hybrid. A lot of them, that maybe their first time using us, they don't store with us, but then the second time they realize, I don't need to store this stuff in my house. There's no need for it. And I can order extra. The more you order, the less the cost is per pack, and even per item. So a lot of our customers like to warehouse some of them so that they have some on hand for future use. There's always someone that you end up forgetting. Believe it or not, even myself, when I used to order swag for teams, I would always get my boss or someone in the company, hey, do we have extra shirts? I want to give one to my wife, or this guy that came into town, or clients in town. I'm like, oh my God, I only ordered exactly what we needed. So I always recommend ordering a little bit more. Those kind of situations always come up, and it's always good to just have them on hand. So I'll show you what our inventory tab looks like. And if you have any other questions, feel free to dive in the comments. All right, so this is our inventory tab. You'll be able to see everything that we're warehousing for you. We warehouse everything out of New Jersey. And this makes it really easy for you to manage all of the things that we store. We also offer third-party items as well. So if you have some old swag kind of laying around in your office or laying around at your house or car even, you can always ship them to us and we'll be able to store them for you, and you'll be able to track and manage them and give access to anyone on your team if they're wanting to, utilize some of the items as well. This just makes it so much easier to warehouse them and not have to think about it. I know when I was doing conferences a lot in my previous roles, I used to have so much stuff in my car. I didn't know what to do after a conference or an event with those items. And a lot of times they just ended up getting really just wasted when someone else in the company could have utilized them. So I wish we would have had something like this back then when I was doing conferences. So this is a really great way to be able to really manage all of your inventory. And again, you can either ship inventory that you have, or it could be inventory that you create with SwagUp. All right, and then we go into our redeem pages. This was a feature that we released last year, and I really just love the redeem pages. It makes it so simple to collect information. So there's a couple different use cases for redeem pages. One, if you have a really large team and you don't know what sizes to order, and you don't want to do a generic, like everyone gets a large t-shirt, or you don't want to, kind of guess what the size breakdown of everyone is, especially when they're remote. It's kind of hard to gauge that. This makes it really easy for you to collect that information in advance. So if you know you're ordering swag, you can go ahead, create a redeem page, send it out to your team on Slack or email, or email it to some of your customers, even if you're wanting to send swag to your customers. And that will allow you to get all of their information, not just their sizing, but also their shipping information. So once you have all that shipping information, you can make a more informed decision on how much swag that you need to order in the future or for another use case. We also have our auto ship offering as well, which, if you just want to order a bunch of swag and you want it to automatically ship out, we do offer that as well. We use our auto ship for our sample pack offering that we have. So any customer that orders a t-shirt or something from us, from our sample pack, we use this auto ship, which means it automatically ships out the items. Now, there is a caveat to this. You do have to have the items in inventory for them to ship out. So that's the main difference between the collections and the auto ship. The collection's kind of more of a pre-order offering, and the auto ship is more for when you have inventory and you're wanting to deplete it and send it out. Now within the redeem pages as well, let's take a look at one of them so you can see what they look like. What I really like about these redeem pages is that it's a really nice way to kind of surprise someone that something's coming. And you can completely customize these pages, totally up to you. You can, theme them, put different copy in them. We use ours a lot for employee engagement things that we do with like giveaways and anniversaries. And we also use them a lot with our customers when we're giving swag away to our customers. And something that I really like that we offer with this as well is not only can you customize the entire messaging of it, but you can also create unique URLs within the redeem pages as well. So if you don't want to send out the same link to everyone and you're like, oh, I'm afraid that's going to get blasted online and they're going to deplete my inventory. Well, you do have a way of actually creating unique URLs, which a lot of our customers, and we do as well, will take those URLs and put it into some type of mail merger to send out to all of our customers or employees. And then you can also kind of pick if you want a product selection or just, contact only. So this product selection, if you go to the product selection, Michaela, yeah, you can also offer more than one item. So if you're wanting to give more options, you don't want to just send one item, and you want them to pick from something, you do have the option up to 4. Sneak peek, we are increasing it to 10, but it is something that is coming. But this is a really great way to give your employees a lot more options with what swag items you want to send them. So whether if it's pet items or stuff for their kids, this is a really neat way to kind of give that option. Then I'll go into our last tab, which is our integrations. So we do offer at SwagUp different integrations for our customers as well. A very popular one that our customers use is the Shopify and Rippling one. Those are 2 that we have innate. And then for some of our marketers or event coordinators, the Zapier connections as well are really great. And this will kind of allow you to connect with a lot of different things, whether if it's a Google Sheet, Slack, different platforms like HubSpot, Marketo. So if you want to create a lead in the system or have a sample, a swag pack or some type of swag sent out to a lead or to a customer, you can make all of those workflows happen within Zapier using our SwagUp dashboard. So there's a lot of fun use cases for this. We have a lot of customers that use it for their SKO events as well. When they're sending stuff out, they want to surprise their employees with some swag, and some of them will send the redeem page link to them in a channel or send it to them directly in Slack or whatever platform that you guys use. So it makes it really easy to kind of connect all of the dots and automate a lot of this stuff, so you're not having to think about it. You just pick your swag, connect an automation. Our sales team can help you with a lot of these automations as well. And you just sit back and relax. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to collect addresses. You don't have to, figure out if a shirt size went out or anything. You can set up so many different automations. We have customers that will even automate the shipping information to get sent to that recipient. Which is also a feature that's coming soon at SwagUp, so that you don't have to create that automation. But in the meantime, you can automate a lot of the things that to kind of take that off your plate and not have to worry about it. So that brings us to the end of our platform from start to finish. I hope I was able to present everything to you. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to us. But we're really excited about our SKO event, and thank you so much for everyone attending. Again, if you're planning some type of team event or SKO event, we have that complimentary virtual event for your team. So let us know if you're interested, and excited to see some of those SKO swag in the wild. Thank you everyone for attending. I hope you had a great event.